Reparations, reparations, reparations. You hear people talk about it, black people, talking about it, making video after video after video. But to be honest with you, I think it's a waste of time. It's never going to happen. You'll get those reparations like we were going to get that 40 acres on a mule. Now, it's been said that some people saying, well, maybe it won't be in the form of money. Maybe it'll be free education. Maybe there'll be some land given in a particular state. Maybe there'll be homes paid off. Because if you think about it, if you took 40 to 50 million black people, let's just say, and you decided to give, let's say per family, you decided to give $10 million, let's just say, to each family of descendants of a slave or descendants of slavery, or DOS as they term it. How long do you think before that money would be right back into the financial system? I would say 50% of it would be back into the financial system within a year. And 75% of it will be back into the financial system within 3 years. 90% of it would be back in 5 years. Because the average black person does not have the capability to manage millions of dollars. Let's face it. If you come from a household where you're making less than $25,000, $30,000 a year, and all of a sudden somebody gives you a lump sum of $10 million, what do you think first thing black people are going to do with it? Buy cars, clothes, jewelry, some houses, go to the strip club, make it rain. You're going to buy concert tickets, gamble some of it away, buy a lot of different drugs, marijuana, cocaine, buy cigars. A lot of people will travel with it. I mean, it'll be gone before you know it. So, I think it's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Regardless of these people making all these videos talking about, and think about it. What type of plan? What will it be based upon? Will it be based upon genealogy, DNA? Lineage? What would be the requirement? And how about those people who were slaves who didn't have children? Because I think that you will have a lot of bickering, a lot of infighting, a lot of disagreement. Nobody would be able to come to terms as to how much, who would be over the committee to disperse the money. It would just be chaos. Because somebody would be saying, oh, they're trying to get over on me. They're trying to get over on him. We're entitled to more because we had 12 members in our family. They only had 3. Why should they get the same amount? You see what I mean? And then who would have the document to prove that you are a DOS? Would you have a document that says, my great-great-great-great-grandmother was a slave? Now think about it, because most of the slaves, they couldn't write nor read. So if they had a document that they had to sign, who's to say that X is any different than somebody else's X? And who else would be entitled to some of that money? Would whites be eliminated? Because they may be able to prove that, they have some DNA of a particular slave, or it's in part of their ancestry. So would you eliminate them? You know, again, it would be very difficult to try and disperse that amount of money or any amount of money, substantial amount of money, to descendants of slavery. Because how far back could you go as far as records go and prove that you are an actual descendant? Because I can tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of forgery. And you have to consider that. That's going to take time. And think about it. When have you known a large number of blacks to agree upon anything in substantial numbers? Except when it comes to voting Democratic. You can always rest assured that the Democratic Party is going to get a majority of black votes. That's about the only thing that black people can agree upon is voting Democratic, the Democratic ticket. I mean, other than that, there's no agreement. So as far as this reparations talk, it's just, I think people just like to talk about something. They like to hear themselves talk, or they have this fantasy that, we're going to get this money for work that our ancestors did, because none of these people they've never seen a slave. Come on. And I doubt if their parents even knew any slaves. They can't tell you a story about, very few parents can tell you about a slave or picking cotton or something like that. It's very few. These young people don't know anything about that. Where's mine? Where's my reparations? Where's my 10 meal, 5 meal, or 20 meal? And who's going to be over this committee? And who's going to have the authority? Who's going to take it to the government and petition the government to give this money to descendants of slavery? I think it will be just a battle that will never be won. Even though in a lot of cases, you could make a case for it and say, yeah, we're owed that money. But you're an American citizen now. So do you really think that American government is going to give American citizens some money now? I mean, from a legal standpoint, and I'm sure, there are attorneys who can research this and find out where has America ever given American citizens reparations? I'm just curious to know. I mean, that would be something to actually let others know about if that's ever been done or if it's possible. And if you're 30, 40 years old today, do you think by the time you're 80 years old that you're going to get that money? And then you have to realize that certain causes die out through generation. For instance, back in the 60s, where the civil rights movement, right? And it was very strong back then. But how strong is it now? I mean, you had a lot of other different causes. And those causes, like I said, they change or they die out from generation to generation. So let's just say you're 30 years old today and you're petitioning the government for reparations. And by the time you get 80, it still hadn't happened. Well, do you think that somebody, the generation below you, do you think that they're going to pick up the cause and they're going to continue to fight the same as you? It's not going to happen. So while we keep talking about reparations, if you want to continue to talk about it, fine. Waste your time. Well, you could be doing something else. Because if you think that the United States government is going to give you some money for what your ancestors did, you may as well go to the car dealership and buy you a blue elephant. Not going to happen. So, it's just something to think about.